now my panelists are here. Um, have you ever even seen or experienced or heard of someone that has been through gender-based violence?
For me, I think it's something that should not be accepted at all. And going through the video, you see where they're talking about that the men that carry out these things against women in the cases that they're looked at or are hailed to be, they want to dominate, they want to show that they're dominant, and they want to show that they're powerful. There's no need to show that you are powerful. I always say this, and I will say it and I stick to it. I learned through my dad taught me many years ago, and even through listening to a dear man of God. But respect that is forced is not nice. You can lose it, but respect that is earned, it goes a long way. I don't need to superimpose my dominance and say I'm the head of the home or something. You find out that some of these guys that carry out these things, they are people that have, I think that before they ever got into that state, it started from the childhood, the upbringing.
Exactly.
Because I always say that people, it's not about it. It's not about the community. It's not also sidelined to only a part of it. It's everywhere, all across the world. You see that because even in India, you hear cases of that. You hear those cases happening.
But the highest so far has been in South Africa.
And it is disturbing. It is disturbing in the fact, because I feel that people should accept that everybody's human. We are together, and there's no need to now begin to. This is separation. It starts from the home. Don't separate. Okay, this is a man. The man is supposed to be superior to the woman, or the male child is above the female child. No, don't do that. And you find out that some of these guys end up becoming bullies. They start, it starts from they hit someone and something else. Okay, don't let it slide. You don't let things slide. You don't let it slide.
You know something, Mr. Paul? First of all, if you watch that video properly, you understand that it starts from the childhood. And solutions were given on having better balanced childhoods for children. The fact that some men or some women will go ranting and tell you, I want a male child, I prefer a male child, already puts the girl child in a disadvantaged position. The fact that you put so much priority on the male child, so people are made to think that women are not as important as men. So by the time you think something is not as important or someone is not as important as you are, certainly a reaction will follow. Certainly there will be some type of way you will treat this gender that is not as important as yours, because that's how you were brought up, that's how you've been taught to believe. And before you even get violent, of course we have someone that will come on the show to talk about the mindset and the soul actions when it comes to being violent. The fact that when you even start raising your voice at someone, it shows that you're losing control. That's why they say it's temper that's been lost, right? Yeah. So by the time you're even raising your voice, I'm saying, Sylvia or Joy, it means that I feel I'm not being heard. It is me that has the issue of the feeling of inadequacy. That is why I'm trying to do more to be heard. Now, by the time I go past screaming and I want to hit someone, like I said, yes, I'm physically violating somebody's body or whatever to prove a point, but still, I am the one that is feeling inadequate. Because if I'm not able to talk to you like this and you comprehend and understand what I'm saying and we communicate and have a share of views and I'm not satisfied with it, the next thing for someone who is not trained is to go up in negativity. That is from shouting to being violent. So we're going to talk about these issues and how it starts and the laws regarding it and how it can be curbed. We're talking about the cities and states where it's most common in Nigeria. Sylvia, you have something to say about that?
Like yourself and Paul did establish the fact that violence actually comes as a result of one feeling more superior than the other. And talking about raising children, I remember on a particular episode of the LXP Morning Flight, we talked about raising godly kids, because every single societal problem that we have seen, grow into a large scale actually started from the home. And it's very imperative to realize that the role that you play, whether male or female, because being violated has nothing to do with because the fact I'm female, the fact that he's a male. Because every single gender, whether male or female, actually does experience gender violence, based on the fact in different proportions. The only thing is that from the ratio from guys to ladies might be 30-70 and 70-30. So in coming to say this violence has increased, we've seen it happen in different parts of the world. Now bringing it home to Nigeria, as a federation, right, as a country, we wanted to find out, are there laws, restricting such activities, when we've seen a lot of people, because this has to do, like Sophie, you did say, psychological effects, to think that, because I need to be heard, I've got to apply force, to ensure the other individual gets to understand me and do what I say that he or she must do. And we've seen how the laws, the Constitution does not even cover that, because
That's
only...
For Nigeria,
because only Ebonyi State, Cross River States, and then Lagos State did have, and it has nothing to do with gender-based violence because it's a person's act. Exactly. Now, violence against persons. Now, this was actually enacted in 2015, on the 25th of May, thereabout, and this Violence Against Persons Act just covers the fact that you are not, you don't have the right to hit someone else or blah, blah, blah. And meanwhile, in some parts of the states and the country, it is allowed. Why? Because they said the husband has a right. What's the word, Paul? The husband has a right to chastise.
That's it.
The husband has a right to chastise his wife. Now, they call it violence when that particular individual that is being chastised has lost sight, has lost speech, or has a facial disfiguration.
Oh my God.
But if there is no loss of sight, there is no loss of speech, there's no facial disfiguration, now the husband has the right, the man has the right to apply force and chastise. These are the laws of our land.
Psychological aspect.
So you see that
where someone is being, what happens to that part?
These are things that need to be brought up, because sometimes when you see someone experience, who is being violated, he or she doesn't want to go report to the law because he feels like the law doesn't even cover this. I'm on my own. I'm going to go back to my home where the man has been violating me to keep being violated. I'm not, except from NGOs who have come up to say, okay, we are here to fight this gender-based violence. And some of them are not even fully equipped to take you out of that situation and keep you in a facility.
We have an authority in this field that's going to talk to us. Maureen Odiakose is a psychologist by profession who has over 7 years of experience. She has attended several trainings and conferences with relevant certification, cutting across different areas and fields of psychology. Maureen, you are welcome to the show, to the Morning Flight.
Hi, Maureen.
Good morning, Maureen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now,
thank you so much.
yes, I hope you can hear us clearly because we have so many questions we want to ask, and we want the public and everybody watching us to be sensitized about this. Now, Sylvia just made a salient point about the fact that in Nigeria, we don't even have laws covering gender-based violence. We only have laws against violence
To persons
act. Now, and for all the other states in Nigeria, that's just 3 states. Ebonyi,
4 states.
4 states, Lagos, Ebonyi, Cross River, and Lagos. That's 3.
No, there's
Lagos, Ebonyi, Cross River. Okay, there's a 4th one. We know that. But for other states, it's okay for a man to chastise his wife, especially when she does not have loss of eyesight and loss of speech or facial disfiguration. It's okay for you to beat up your wife and chastise her. What do you have to say about this?
Okay, basic. When it comes to gender-based violence, it's something that is coming from a long myth, traditionally and socially. Now, we grew up with this traditional belief of gender inequality. We grew up with this traditional belief of gender inequality, and one of the things that will help
Hello, Maureen. Okay, I think she'll call back.
Yes.
Now, we're talking about the societal aspect, which is what she's saying, the fact that we grew up thinking that men were better than
from the home.
women.
Yeah.
And it's literally, you think that because it's African nature, um, yes, it's mostly in Africa, but guess what? The whole world is experiencing that.
Yeah.
It's not just limited to African or African countries. The whole world is experiencing gender. The other day in Turkey or in Istanbul, there was a demonstration of women saying we're tired of the violence against women. There's just so much to say, but once we get her back.
You know, Sophie, I was going to mention.
Okay, Maureen is back.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes, you were saying something before.
Okay, now, these things have actually been for a very long time. And one key thing is there's a revolution. In the educational, one key way of changing things is through the educational system. Yeah. Now, in the educational system, there is a reculturation being done on the young ones, on the young kids, about gender equality. About gender equality. Now, these long myth of, there's been this long traditional myth of the man more superior to the woman, and it's okay to, carry out some violent activities. Now, but all of those things are gradually fading out. They're actually gradually being fading out because of the new values being instilled in the children at the educational level.
Okay, so.
But we need to clarify something, because when you talk about being revolution, bringing about a change, we've seen how there's been a change in the educational system. But in this same reculturing of the young people, especially girls, we've seen the rise of feminism rising, because in a bid to culture this gender-based violence, you hear the educational system saying ladies have power, ladies can rise to power. And that is how we've seen, because some of the revolution you did talk about, we've seen women take to the streets for this whole feminism thing. Now, you need to clarify, is raising women who say, okay, look, as a woman, I can't be this. Is that the solution? Because so that people at home don't think, yes, we're saying that feminism is the way to as a solution to this gender-based violence.
Okay, one key thing is, while most of these changes have to start when they are actually very young. Now, one key thing is, while they are growing up, there's these parents act as role models to their kids. Yeah. Now, in the school system, you have, while maybe engaging them in some teamwork, you have the teacher or whoever is responsible trying to teach the male pupils or the male students on how to treat a lady. And now you're also bringing up the consciousness of the female child, of who she is, that they are actually, there's an equality, without making the female child understand who they are. They grow up with a strong sense of personality, a strong sense of individuality. Then the female, on the other part, grow up knowing that these female counterparts are actually the same person with them. You have simple activities, as maybe in public places or in in public places, you have the male giving some preference to ladies, teaching them those little cultures has a way of inculcating in them the importance of, treating the female counterpart with some level of honor. So if you have a child that grows up with that kind of mindset, that the female and male child that grows up with such a mindset, it will actually lead to reduction in such cases in the society, such cases of gender-based violence in the society. So that's actually my key point when I said these things are actually predominant, but we have those new teachings from the educational system, making the female child understand who she is, understand that she's important, understand that she has a voice. Now, it's one major way of helping them. Then the male counterparts on the other part, you make them understand that the female, the ladies needs to be treated with honor. So those explanations gives them a mindset which they grow up with. So you see them growing up to become a man, growing up to become an uncle, growing up to become a father, and they have that same mindset, you know. And most of these things, you know, there are lots of causes of this violence, a lot of causes. You know, we have a lot of causes from down from the family upbringing, where the male kids, if probably you have a parent that's usually you have your father always hitting or maltreating the mother, it will cause a psychological effect on the children. Obviously. And you would see most times they grow up, if not well corrected, maybe by other agents of socialization like the school, the religious group, and maybe some NGOs that the children may come across. You see them growing with this mindset. They grow with the mindset that this is what is right. Yeah. You know, this is the right thing. Okay, this is how it is. Then when they meet the female, either in their school, in marriage, in relationship, different forms of relationship, the work environment, they just cannot tolerate the female child talking to them in a certain way. Yeah. They just cannot tolerate the female child talking to them in a certain way. So these things all about, just has to do with the traiing the young ones to have a certain mindset
before you say something, I just want to make something clear, that it's not just females that are victims of gender-based violence. Exactly. We have male and females, but the issue is that the female victims are more predominant. We have about 87% on the ratio. Yeah. So,
Maureen, I was going to ask, you mentioned something about the psychological effect of this violence against, whether be it male or be it female. So, but what is who do we talk to? Who do you go to when you're undergoing or you're going through this certain violent, you know, attack? Maybe be it a male or be it a female. Who do you talk to? Because I know in schools, I'm not sure if the counseling units are still functional for you to go to if you're being molested by anybody or whatever it is. So who do you talk to when you go through, undergo this violent situations?
Okay, basically it's of different levels. If probably the violence is still at this threat level, if it's at a particular point where probably the person has not yet been violated to a certain extent, there are cases where either the male or the female, like you've pointed out, should speak to an adult. Okay. Speak to an adult, the most trusted adult, which could either be, depending on the environment of the child or the adolescent or the adult. Now, to speak to an adult, it could be the teacher, it could be the pastor, it could be the parents. It could be the parents. Now, if it's a case where it can be avoided, there's always this thing about locate in that environment. If you feel the threat of being violated, immediately exit that place. And at that point, you try to minimize the anger. You know, some of these things, some of this display of violence comes from either frustration or anxiety. Some of them are psychological disorder. Now, it all depends on where each of these things are coming from. But the first thing is, when you have the sense of, you have the threat of violence, what you do is to exit that place. Then you try to be careful with your words, not to aggravate such violence in the person. Okay. Now, when the case is psychological, then such a person has to receive some therapy, because there's some therapy that will have to help the person, because definitely it's something that if it's not well handled, such a person lives with it for his or her life. It will have this lifelong impact.